Hello friends, it's Armstrong here from Other Miniatures, and I want to wish you all Merry Christmas. I know that this ain't gonna age well, but Merry Christmas to all of you, my friends. So I finished my Christmas break, which took me like 2 days, but that's okay. And today I'm gonna be working on this car. It's a Honda Civic SI, yeah, and converted into something with a little bit more oomph. So let's just get on the table and see what I'm gonna do to this poor car. So there we have it, and like always I don't even want to be bothered with stripping the paint and doing the heavy jobs for this project. Now what I have in here is a cheap plastic tank that I got from God knows what. It costed like 50p I guess altogether. Yeah. So I want the turret from it. I think that that's gonna be my idea for today. Have a turret mounted on this car, and I didn't actually expect this to be so hard to cut. So be careful with my fingers. Alright. Okay, I guess there was some sort of screw inside. Yeah, there is another one in here, I didn't notice them. But whatever. So, what I'm thinking is putting this turret on top of this car. Yeah, and maybe adding some more gadgets to it. So what I want to do as well is add some extra pipes, and I'm just wondering what thickness do I need. I think that this is gonna be the thickness of my exhaust pipe. Yeah. So I want to have two exhaust pipes, just sticking up here. And I don't gonna be drilling them, I just gonna cut the pieces and just glue them in. There we go, number one and number two. Because not all of the cars have to have this perforated exhaust pipes that I was doing previously. We need some variety in the build, so this is my approach today. Not frayed at the ends, not drilled in, just normal pieces of pipes. I'm not sure that this super glue still have something in it. Okay. I'm just thinking. I'll be right back. Okay, I just want to do some scuffing of the paint job, because that this doesn't take normal paints too well if you don't scuff the surface. And as well, this is just gonna show that the car was, even if I'm gonna leave the original paint job, which is actually lovely. I like this light blue, although I always kind of fight against blue color, as in Warhammer 40k we have the main Space Marine faction, which are Ultramarines, and I have kind of disdain for the blue in miniatures because of them. They are just too pushed up your throat. Yeah, so it's not like I don't like them, they have good rules. But I just don't like the paint jobs anymore. The blue kind of got too much. Alright, this super glue have nothing to give anymore. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm definitely badly prepared for this video. How you can see, I didn't even check if my super glue still have some super glue in it, so yeah. One of those days. But I'm gonna live with that somehow. I think that I'm gonna survive. So I want to ask all of you, how was your Christmas? Yeah, because my one was beautiful and surprisingly I didn't overeat a single time. So yay, win for me. Yeah, especially when I'm a chunky boy. So you know, this happened more often than during the Christmas to me, you know, to overeat, but this Christmas, nope, not a single time. And I feel great about it. Oh. Now, this is a new material for me. These are hairbands. But what is good about them? They have nice texture. And, yeah, when you use them for pipes, they are extremely flexible. Yeah, you can put them however you want, and they just gonna adjust to your idea. So let's just say that I want the pipes to go out from here. I'm just gonna add some super glue, then cut it to size, push it into the pipe, and just glue it as I want to. Yeah, but I know that I don't need that much of the pipe, so I'm gonna just cut about this much. Yeah, and this using of the hairbands for miniature buildings, I think that it was Kid Bosch or Trash Bash, one of those two channels who actually came up with them, with this idea as for using them for terrain. Yeah, and you know, I'm just appropriating this idea for cars because, well, it works good, so I don't see a point of not using it. And just look at that. This is the best, easiest pipe you can make. Yeah, and you know, if you want to, you don't have to glue it to the car. It can be, you know, sticking out. And as well, it's have texture on it, so it's not very maybe strongly visible in the camera, but this is gonna show on the model. You're gonna see it after dry brushing. It's gonna be nice and lovely. And let's just do exactly the same on the other side. I'm just, you know, looking through different channels, and sometimes I find a great ideas for our hobby. Of course, you need to wait just for a second because this is material, so it soaks the glue like crazy. All right, and we have this in here, and now just bam, bam, bam. And you can see how nicely this conforms to the car. Now, if you want to make it more solid, yeah, you can just cover it in super glue. This is gonna turn, you know how super glue hardens, so it's gonna turn solid very quickly. All right, so now I have to wait because it is covered in super glue, so let's just give it a second, or well, a couple of seconds. And next material that I actually procure for our buildings is staples. Yeah, I don't remember which channel, and I'm really sorry, but I was watching someone converting cars, and I know that it was a diecast channel, like typical diecast channel, and they use the staples as radiators. Yeah, just, you know, just imagine, you know, having this inside of the, just behind the grill in here, it would look lovely. Yeah, and I'm just thinking that, you know, you can use the staples themselves as a ladders for this scale easily. Just a single staple gonna make a nice step of a ladder. Yeah, but as well, you know, you can probably do some sort of scoop on the car, maybe even like on the sides, but I ain't gonna be using them in this build. But you know, I just wanted to mention them as, you know, I just have this idea, and I bought, well, I saw this idea and I bought the staples, and I think that I'm gonna be using them in the future. I want to cover the back window because I know that I ain't gonna want to have it exposed. So I'll just grab a piece of diamond plating. Yeah. And of course I'm gonna have to adjust it because I cut it a little bit too big, but you know me. I always do that. And I don't want it to be perfect because that's why my way of thinking about this game, that the world after the apocalypse wouldn't be perfect, so you would have very small amount of people who would think about getting everything done properly. They would want to have armor on their cars, and if it isn't looking pretty, it isn't looking pretty. They wouldn't care that much. Yeah, especially back window, which is definitely a big hazard for everyone. So there we go. And you know, like for me, Honda Civic is very generic car, yeah. So I wanted to get back into the swing of things with something generic, so I wouldn't have to overcomplicate everything for it. Now the turrets. How I want to, because when you look at the gun, yeah, it's already tilted towards the ground, and you know it's a very bad quality gun. So I think about putting the turret like a hat, a little bit backwards. Yeah, but I still need to make something that this turret gonna be actually resting on. So I'm just gonna grab a plastic rod and cut about 3 mils of it. I think that should be enough. Let's just see if my perfect measuring skills work this time around. And spot on. Oh, I love this, you know, how I always, you know, just kind of eyeball everything and it works. It must be some sort of a gift for toys. Otherwise I would be screwing this up so many times. Alright. And I just noticed that I make a big mistake, because I put the armor on top of it before armoring the windows, and now I'm gonna have a much harder time getting into there. So let's just get a strip of this and try to cover one window. So roughly about this much. Let's see. Yep. And now here, I think. And now I need to cut. Oh, okay. That didn't hold up under the mirror. Well, maybe that's even better. I can remove it and glue it after I finish with the windows. No. How much do I need to shorten it? Oh, okay. Okay, about this much. So we have passenger window nicely covered. Just let's give it a good squirt of super glue. And you know exactly why I'm doing that. I simply don't want to deal with the inside. Yeah, we could all, of course, do this stuff easily. But why bother if we care mostly about the outside, yeah? of the car. So getting a heavy armor on it is a very positive thing. Let's see. Yep, this is overhanging, but I would probably have to make a small cut in here. So just make another cut, yeah. And some people may wonder why, since I never do that, but for a change I want to show that those front doors are somewhat able to open. Yeah, this is, you know, just to make this little change to the car, that it's actually able to open front door. And it look more ramshackle anyway because of that. And come on, I know that I have somewhere in here my favorite window material, which is of course metal mesh. Yeah, so let's just make a, is it wide enough? Yes, it is wide enough for this window. Oh, all right. Okay, and I can cut it a little bit on the bottom as well. So yeah, good strong scissors are definitely your friend in this hobby. And why I do so much before gluing it, because you know how the windows are always sticking out and always cause me troubles. So I want to have the perfect shape so I don't have to push it and, you know, get my fingers stuck to the car, which is still gonna happen anyway. But you know, I'm hopeful that, you know, one day I'm gonna manage to put the mesh on the window and not have to struggle with this. Do I? Why not? It's completely illogical to put that on the front because it's gonna cover the driver's field of vision, but let's just say it is a huge scoop, yeah, or something. And now back to the turret, and I think that my best friend, you know, baking soda, gonna have to come as well just to help me with that. Come on, there we go. All right, and I think that it's done with the conversion, so I'm just gonna do the baking soda stuff, and I'll be right back with the after I black bomb it. And here we have it nicely black bombed. So I'm gonna start with the metallics like always. So a small brush because it's not too much to dry brush, but I want to have the metal plates like always. Dry brushed, I want to have the exhaust and the entire exhaust pipe. You know, like oh my goodness, I lost the train of thought. Basically, you can do it with the bigger brush. It's gonna be faster. Yeah, it's probably gonna be more aggressive. And of course, the makeup brushes are perfect for this stuff. So don't be afraid to use them. I just do with this brush because lately, for some reason, this old frail brush became my favorite dry brush, and I'm gonna show you the reason for it in a second. Because even though I spent the Christmas with my family, not family with my Christmas, it just doesn't work this way. Yeah, I still managed to do some hobby time. Yeah, and I didn't want to, you know, sacrifice the family time for videos, but you know, when I have a downtime, especially 2 nights ago I couldn't sleep at all, I managed to actually squeeze some painting in. So I painted this boy in here. It's a demi-griff or a griff hound, however you want to call that creature. Yeah, and most of that job was actually done with this brush. Yeah, and I'm very happy with that. Like, I always struggle with skin and with fur, feathers. Yeah, like natural stuff are big issue for me. And then I found that I have actually a second demi-griff, and I decided to paint it this one, you know, more like a tiger with, you know, a little bit of orange and stripes on him. But yeah, that was what I was doing last 2 days. I was painting 2 minis. Took me altogether about 7 hours. Yeah, but that's what happens when you have sleepless nights. You tend to paint stuff that you wouldn't touch otherwise, at least not for years. Yeah, and these minis are actually not that old. I have them only for about a year, so this is a big surprise. Right, and you notice that I painted the entire car black, so I want to change the color, and my color of choice, because he have a tank turret on top, well, it's gonna be green. Yeah, and I chose a snotling green. I think, yeah, it is snot green. So I just gonna give it a nice cover once, and then I'm gonna come back with a second layer, and then I think it's gonna be done. Yeah, and you know, this brush is a frayed brush, so it's gonna be messy, but like I always say, I do not care about that, especially that the second layer gonna fix up most of the mistakes done in the first layer. Yeah. And especially on Gaslands cars, like always, you know, you don't need to be very careful, you don't need to be very precise, and at the end of the day you even don't have to be a good painter. You can mess it up, it's still gonna look somewhat good. Yeah, like you see, I don't care about the lights, I cover them with the paint. Yeah, who cares at this stage? It's the end of the world. At least as we know it. Yeah. So there we have it. I'm just gonna dry it off and put the next layer and be right back. Oh, of course I have to still paint the turret. I forgot about that little detail. Yeah. And it's nicely painted. So now what I want to do next is, of course, some rust. So let's start with red. And you already know my technique very well. I'm using baking soda as the primary rust. It just, you know, simplified my entire paint job so much. Yeah, so I want some around the added exhaust pipes, some on the door, especially where I splattered too much paint. Yeah, you can see that I did screw up a little bit with the green paint in here, so I can do the armor plating in here as well on this pipe. I did a lot of green. So yeah, I think that's maybe a little bit just in the front of the car, because this is gonna be my second I'm sorry, I simply cannot spell that name. The military faction for Gaslands, yeah? So I don't want the cars to be too rusted, because like I said before, you know, I would think that military would be still, you know, at least somewhat better than just regular gangs. So that's why I think that their cars would be in better condition. Yeah, so just I don't want to overdo the rust, because if I overdo it, you know that this gonna be just a ruster, and I don't want that. I don't know about you, but I don't want that anyway. Alright, I think that this is enough rust. And of course the second part of this is mud and what do you call it now? Mud and just, you know, some sand on it. And you know, this is not a big problem. You can just take two different shades of brown and allow them to mix, and you know, front definitely gonna be caked a little bit, then over the wheels. And I'm doing this very wet today, and I don't think it's gonna be a problem because those two paints that I'm using gonna dry very chalky, I think. Yeah, so roughly till the bottom panel, like always. And now, just, you know, to cake the wheels, I just gonna make the baking soda mixture, and I want to have some of this on the wheels at the beginning of this pipe, definitely. Some into the front grille. The same about this wheel and this wheel. Especially when the normal paint ended up on the wheel, you can hide it this way easily. Yeah, and of course, you know, if you really want to, like I do lately, just you can just cake whatever you have left over on the bottom. Yeah, it ain't gonna be looking that much like a normal toy car because of that. Alright, now this is done, and I need to give it now a blast with the hairdryer. I'll be right back. And it's dry and almost done. Now I just want to use some Argrax Earthshade, and I normally would be using a Null oil for that, but I want this for a change. Yeah, this is gonna make everything a little bit brown, and this is exactly what I want this time around for some reason. Yeah. So let's just give it a little bit of dirtiness. Maybe the orange ain't gonna be so drastically muted by this. Come on. And that's it. I'm gonna just dry it off and throw it on the spin table. As well, I will throw the two demi griffs if you are interested in looking at them on the spin table afterwards. So be right back. And I'm back here. Yeah, sorry, it's still not the spin table, but after drying it off, I noticed that the Argrax Earthshade left a very aggressive wet look. So I just gonna be doing a little bit of dry brushing on the most of the areas, yeah, with the original colors, just to mute this wetness, you know. Okay, that just sounded silly. Wetness. Okay. Yeah, the thing with that Argrax Earthshade did is already done. Yeah, but dry brushing makes surface look more chalky, which means that you can get rid of the extreme look of wetness after applying Argrax Earthshade. I don't know why it is turning so wet looking. Yeah, but I think that this is better. So now let's go on to the spin table. So here we have it, my finished Rudenhof, whatever, Honda Civic with a tank turret on top. Of course, we know that this would be a tankette, not a tank. You know, the tiny tanks that Polish and Russians, I think, produced during the First and Second World War. Yeah, but I'm actually happy with this car. like the extra exhaust pipes always kind of work into my advantage, so you know, I'm always happy about them. They just look great. And now let's just throw the demi-griff number 1. Come on, let's focus on it on the spin table. There you have it. It's turned out very well. I was thinking more about the leopard when I was painting him, that way he have the dots all over his body. And demi-griff number 2, and again, just let's get it focused. And this one was more inspired by a tiger, or you know, like just more orangey creature. And of course, you know, we know that demi-griffs are just fantasy creatures, so I could paint it pink with the bright green stripes and still be working. But to be completely honest, I'm extremely proud of them, because like I always say, I struggle with skin, I struggle with leather, I struggle with fur, and this time around I think that I actually did my best job thus far. So yeah, there it is. So if you liked it, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends, family, and whoever else you want to. And again, to every one of you, Merry Christmas and have a lovely day.